Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Yael Kirshenberg, the creator of Media Literacy Academy for Adults. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you will enjoy our journey. And I truly believe that once you completed the 10 lessons we created for you here, you will be able to call yourself a media literate person. And of course, you will be able to wisely apply the skills that you acquired to your everyday media consumption. So let's get started. Now, since media literacy is a relatively new field of study, I would like to first define the words media and literacy. The word media is the plural of the word medium, and according to our dictionary, it is the main means of mass communication. Now, literacy is the ability to read and write. So what does it mean to be able to read and write media? For now, let's just say that this new field of study is a 21st century approach to education that aims to help students develop critical thinking skills while consuming media. It involves the protectionist and the empowerment theories so that on the one hand, media consumers develop skills that help them protect themselves from today's extremely saturated, um, complex, and possibly harmful media. And on the other hand, they learn to be empowered by gaining skills that may help them make educated choices and be well informed civic participants um, in a democratic society. Before we continue to explain the exact meaning of media literacy, I would like to briefly go over what comprises today's media. So as you can see here, the three main forms of media are publishing. That includes print mediums like books, newspapers, magazines, posters, banners, billboards, and just about any printed material constructed for large audiences. Then we have broadcasting that encompasses films, radio, television, including, of course, basic networks, cable, and satellites. Now, those are considered traditional media. The newer forms of media are any mediums related to the internet, including computers, websites, blogs, applications, digital devices, and alike. So now that we know what is included in today's media, let's see how media literacy is defined. To be literate in media is to be able first to access media, then to be able to critically evaluate, analyze, and create media, and finally to be able to apply those skills through actions. This definition was created by one of today's leading initiatives in media literacy education called NAMLE, the National Association for Media Literacy Education. Namely, I should mention here, views media literacy as an expansion of the traditional literacy foundation provided in school communities. Um, that expansion of media literacy education draws on many traditional fields of study, such as sociology, psychology, technology, linguistics, communication, of course, and many more. Some call it multimedia literacy. So when learning media literacy, one could expect to learn it from um, the perspectives of all of these disciplines. Now, that new additional literacy prepares consumers of media for reading and writing messages, but in different forms. The new forms could be photos, emojis, videos, websites, apps, video games, and many more. Mark Prensky, who considered digital media a complete new language, distinguishes between digital natives and digital immigrants. Digital natives are the people who were born after 1980 and are fluent in the digital language. Digital immigrants, on the other hand, are those who were born before 1980, obviously before digital technology became so prevalent, and therefore they are not as fluent in speaking and comprehension of that foreign language. Prensky said figuratively, they have an accent. I thought it was cute. According to Stanley J. Barron's textbook, Introduction to Mass Communication, Media Literacy and Culture, media literacy refers to those skills where a consumer is able to pay attention to content while filtering out all kinds of interferences that might be distracting, to decipher and value media power and impact, um, to be able to evaluate messages with pure reasoning. A media literate consumer should expect and demand transparency and authenticity from the media to receive reliable information and messages. And finally, media users should be aware of the special language and techniques different forms of media use to attract attention and evoke emotions. Some of the techniques used by the media could be special texts, colors, lights, a variety of effects to set up the mood, music, camera location, and so forth. Um, Albert Einstein, the theoretical physicist and among the most profound thinkers of the 20th century, suggested question everything. That was one of his mottos. Now, those words of wisdom can be manifest in what he stated, quote, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. Now, I guess that was true for his science experiments, but we can definitely apply it to media literacy as well. In fact, media literacy promotes habits of inquiry in its core principles. Questioning of the media authenticity, reliability, transparency, agenda, and so forth. Uh, Now, here are the typical 5 questions a media literate person should ask while critiquing and analyzing media. These are the questions most leading media literacy education communities promote. They might change a sentence or two or some words, but they are all essentially preaching the same idea. So, an important question to ask is who's behind the message? What techniques were used to attract users' attention or even reaction? How different cultural groups might get different meanings from the same messages. What are the points of view that are represented by the author? What was not represented or eliminated from the real message, maybe on purpose? Why am I getting this message? What is the author trying to make me do or feel? In other words, what's the purpose? And finally, we have reached the 5 core principles of media literacy. Media consumers may consider these as guidelines when searching, listening, watching, playing, and creating media. So let's go through them all. All media messages are constructed. They're not necessarily the depiction of reality. Next media messages are constructed using creative language with its own rules and should be examined within social, political, and economic contexts. In other words, messages should be checked for possible bias and agenda. Furthermore, different people experience the same media messages differently. Media consumers with different backgrounds, culture, religion, age, sexual orientation, and so forth cannot possibly perceive messages the same way. What else? Media have embedded values and points of view. Be assured that creators of messages always want to voice their opinions. Now, the fifth concept states most media messages are organized to gain profits and power. Well, this is a major topic that needs to be addressed considerably in different lessons that later on. And finally, different forms of media have unique and different characteristics and strengths. They tend to use different language construction as well. Um, Now, that is all for this lesson. Our next lesson will be an elaboration on mass communication so that we can further understand the many forms of media and their impact on their audiences. So until next time, goodbye, everyone.